College football action on Saturday. It's going to be heating up early with big noon kickoffs out east, 9 a.m. out west when Alabama takes on Kentucky here in Alabama, a 10.5 point road favorite against Kentucky. Have they not been watching this? No, look, Alabama is obviously on fire at this point. Uh, we'll see uh, where they stand as the BCS playoffs continue to shake out. But Alabama is the team right now that has their stock on the rise, and there's no doubt about it. And everybody wanted to discount Alabama and Milrow. How was he benched in that Texas game? That didn't make any sense. It still doesn't today. You look at what Milrow has been doing here, and you just got to think that, uh, you know, Alabama in pretty good position here, but I don't know if I trust them against a team like Kentucky, the way Kentucky's been playing this season. Now, I don't know. Maybe expectations were even a little bit higher to a certain extent. Now, when you're Kentucky and you're 6-3, uh, that's pretty good. But it does feel like maybe one got away that they should have had, and I don't know. Here, I think I'd prefer to end up taking the points with the Wildcats. I know everybody's hot on Alabama right now. We're all hot on Alabama, but the move has been on Kentucky. There's no doubt about it. This game opened as high as 12. It's down to 10.5 pretty much everywhere you look. The move has been on Kentucky. Alabama, they're 6-3 against the spread. That's actually pretty good, probably for Alabama, considering they're 8-1. No problem there. Kentucky actually just 5-4 so far against the spread. But I don't know. It does feel like in a Kentucky with a team that has some defense. I mean, they're allowing 22 points per game. Play tougher teams here in conference. Certainly, we understand that, but I'm going to grab the points. I'm taking Kentucky against Alabama. Thomas Lewis says, take the Alabama Crimson Tide. The Virginia Tech Hokies take on the Boston College Eagles. In college football action here for Saturday. In this one, you got Virginia Tech on the road, favored here by 7.5. No, I'm sorry, by 2. Of course, Virginia Tech here by 2 in this one on the road at Boston College. All right, for Virginia Tech coming into this one, they come in with that current record. Let's see here. Did they move this game time on me and I don't know what I'm doing?
Steam play.
133, 134. There we go. Might have to start this one over, you guys. Sorry about that. College football action for Saturday. Virginia Tech, a favorite here against Boston College. Virginia Tech on the road, a 2-point favorite. Boston College coming in 6-3 right now, 4-5 to the number currently. But for Boston College, not bad considering right now they come in here. They're averaging 27 points per game currently, 4-5 against the number. Should note Boston College 6-2 to the over so far this season. This line has been on the move here towards Virginia Tech. They're favored by 2 now. Boston College opened up a 4-point favorite, and I don't mind. I mean, maybe the situation, the way the teams have trended, the way Boston College has been going, it's been trending towards Virginia Tech, no doubt about it. You look at them coming in here as a favorite right now. That to me is what the surprise is coming in for Boston College. They had the game last week against Syracuse. An impressive performance, 17-10 victory on the road. Did the job. They're on this long winning streak right now. I mean, why the move here to Virginia Tech currently, given the way Boston College has currently been playing with this 5 game winning streak? So I don't know. You look at there is some concerns for Boston College injury wise in the backfield. Certainly, their running back situation is a little bit dinged up, and a little bit on the offensive line as well. They do have some issues. They have lost uh, uh, a running back for the season announced this week, and they got a wide receiver that's out indefinitely. So you do have some injury concerns here, but there are also injury concerns with Virginia Tech coming in the defensive backfield, in the running back situation. Even a quarterback, Grant Wells, is listed as questionable with an injury here, and they've lost their tight end for the season. So well, that was a long time ago, but I'm just thinking about the whole season now. But this week, certainly, some issues with uh, uh, at running back, at quarterback, at a wide receiver here. So I think I'm, got to take Boston College plus these points now with this winning streak. Thomas Lewis says he's going. Is this the game you're going to, or that last one, Thomas? So I'm going to take Boston College here. I'm getting points now. Um, Maybe I have missed something in this one, and why is that move so heavy to Virginia Tech? Look, I mean, there's no problem with Virginia Tech. The way things have been going for them as well, right? They had, let's see, what did they do? They had uh, I could throw out last week's game. I mean, uh, getting blown out like they did against Louisville, because before that they had beaten Syracuse at home, they'd beaten Wake Forest at home, and lost at FSU, beat Pittsburgh at home. Good games at home. Give me Boston College in this one. Enjoy that one, Thomas. Yeah, good game. And Boston, you're going the game. Let's take the home team. Let's take Boston College with the 5 game winning streak. Georgia Tech and Clemson college football action. This one is for Saturday. Got Georgia Tech here on the road in this one as an underdog, of course, to a Clemson team. They're cleaning it up a little bit, considering it's Clemson and expectations are higher and things weren't looking as good, and now all of a sudden, things aren't maybe as dire as we thought uh, currently. Yeah, I mean, you know, as have things passed Clemson by? Maybe is Clemson just 3-6 against the spread despite their 5-4 record? Yeah, that's an issue too. But here they are against Georgia Tech. Going to be a 2 touchdown favorite. I figure they could probably. Uh, I don't know. Georgia Tech has done some good things, especially right now. They're on a little bit of a good streak, right? They walloped Virginia last week, 45-17, and of course they got the big win over North Carolina, 46-42 for a little 2 game winning streak here right now. But I think Clemson might be the team that's kind of on a roll to a certain extent. I mean, considering they're only 5-4, that's one thing. But they crushed Notre Dame in that game. Yeah, Notre Dame kept coming back there, but Clemson did get the win against the Notre Dame team that was, Notre Dame's covering every game in the ACC so far. Don't go so fast here. Uh, Clemson did, lose to NC State on the road. Of course, they lost to Miami. Maybe they've beaten some teams they should have beaten and lost to maybe one or two that maybe was going to be a tougher game. So I'm going to lay the points here with Clemson. Maybe I haven't learned my lesson just yet. And of course, I do not want to sit there and be laying, Look, okay, you and your key numbers down there at 6 and 7 because it's only one score. I'm definitely going to be looking to get this off of 14 and get it below. There was look, it opened on Sunday at circa at 18, if I'm not mistaken, or at least it opened at circa at 18. Now nobody else opened it that high. Respect circa or not, maybe I am giving them respect with the pick of Clemson. I like Clemson to win this one. I'll take Clemson. I'll take Clemson by 3 scores. Thomas is on Georgia Tech, though. The Michigan Wolverines will take on the Penn State Nittany Lions in one of the games of the year so far, and this will go a long way in helping determine the final four BCS teams. Uh, I don't know, could both these teams still end up in the BCS? If Michigan were to get upset, would that cost them a spot in the BCS? Michigan's favored here on the road. 5.5. Wait a minute, 5.5. What happened? What happened to 2? What happened to 3? Now we did see a number as high at one point as a juiced up 7 here with Michigan, but I don't know. We saw as low at uh, some look aheads as low as 3 in this one. So maybe it's settling here at 5. In fact, I'm showing DraftKings right now has already moved this game to 4.5 today, and maybe even on mostly 5s out there. So maybe I should just. I had this one typed in because we were gonna go. I was gonna go over some college football yesterday, but the show was so long. So, anyways, here Thomas is going to take Michigan Wolverines, and I'm going to be going. Well, I don't know where I'm going to be going with the side, but I'll tell you what, I'm going to be taking the under in this one at 44. It can be had for numbers higher than 44. In fact, pretty much everywhere it's higher than 44. But I'm going to look to go under in the game between Michigan and Penn State in this. What should be an awesome game on Saturday with Michigan coming in here as a favorite. Yeah, maybe they're ranked higher. They're undefeated. We know Penn State has the one loss, so no problem there. But I don't know this game. I rate this game very, very even. Uh, to me. Michigan's got some other issues. Don't forget as well going on. I don't know if it bothers the players any or bothers any of them at all here at this point. But something that got to be weighed in the back of the mind every time with preparations, with coaching, with scouting. Because believe it or not, you do scout the other team with in-person scouts, with sitting in stand, things like that. I mean, that's as long as you're not using like electronic devices and hey, it's all fair and game. But here in this one, I've got this one being knocked down, drag out, non-explosive, and at 44, I'm going under. You got, uh, you know, Penn State's been going over quite a bit, but they've been super explosive. They're 8-1, 7-2 against the spread. That's pretty strong. Michigan in their 9-0 so far, just 4-1 to the number, so they're laying too much. Usually, apparently, uh, let Thomas go with Michigan here. I'll take the under in the big game between Michigan and Penn State. Has been as high as 46.5, now down to 45, 44.5 at most spots. Was as low as 43.5 at one point at one book, but has since gone up certainly here, and that's the way I'm going to look to go under in the game between Michigan and Penn State. It's going to be great. Great, great, great. I don't need to sell you on that. More big noon kickoff action here in Texas Tech and Kansas. Noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. Kansas favored here at home in this one, minus 3.5. And the total currently sitting at 61 for this matchup. Kansas coming in at this point, 7-2 straight up, in a pretty strong season. If you're Kansas, no doubt about it. This is uh, kind of where they expected to be coming in for Kansas. This has been a big time season, no doubt about it. 5-4 against the spread, so they're not always, uh, a sneaky team anymore. Here, they're favored at home against Texas Tech. Texas Tech coming in just 4-5, 4-5 to the number also so far this season. So Kansas, it's just a big deal for them to be ranked. I mean, there was that was the big celebration to be, ranked over the last couple of weeks, and they continue to move up here a little bit at number 19, I believe, in the latest poll. So good job, Kansas, off the wins here over Iowa State on the road, getting that money, getting that 7-point win, also beating Oklahoma. Uh, they have some losses, no doubt. They lost to Oklahoma State, they lost to Texas, but they won all the others. And you'd think against Texas Tech they could handle their business here. But I would think also Texas Tech might be able to do some damage with their scoring here in this one. And you look at some of these Kansas, I know that the totals don't necessarily indicate it right now. I mean, Kansas is 5-3-1 to the over, but look at some of the scores have been pretty high of late. And Texas Tech, their game against TCU last week went for 63 points in a 35-28 home victory. And they also played Houston at home, 49-28. Their game against Baylor went for 53 points, but they held Baylor to 14. They're not going to hold Kansas down. I mean, Kansas is pretty prolific at this, their offense at this point, even playing both quarterbacks this season. It hasn't really been a problem. Is Daniels the number one guy that you wanted in there all season? Yeah, he is. And he's questionable again this week with that back problem. But they've been just capable with the next guy as well. And Texas Tech, their season's kind of been down ever since. Remember, their quarterback got knocked out a couple weeks, 2 weeks ago. I want to say 2 or 3 weeks ago now. Their top quarterback was knocked out for the season. They'll also be without a tight end here this week as well. So I don't know. It seems like it shapes up pretty good for a hot Kansas team right here. I'll take over. I mean, they should put up a ton of points. A close spread game like this, it does make the total a little bit more difficult, I always think, because look, now here are your thoughts. You look at a game here like this, and 31-28 doesn't get you home. You need another score there. You need 35-31. 38-31, 38-34, something in there. And if I'm going to get Kansas home, I might need even more than that. And Kansas is capable of doing that. You look at their offensive point totals, this year on the road at Iowa State, 28, pretty decent. The 38 against Oklahoma at home. They scored 38 at home against Oklahoma. So you can see what they could do. They scored 51 at home against UCF. Texas Tech is no better than UCF, even on the defensive side, right? They scored 38 against BYU. Yeah, BYU's been bad on the road. Bomb Missouri State for 48 points in the opener. Kansas is almost automatic for their points. I don't think they're going to get shut down here, even without Daniels. So this one gets to probably the high 60s here. Give me the over in this one. Maryland and Nebraska. Hey, it's a good, it's okay. It's an okay one. I'm gonna watch it. I watch all Nebraska games pretty much no matter what, and against a decent team, certainly here, like Maryland. This will be a game worth watching. And given the fact that both teams are, right there on the cusp of bowl eligibility, The winner of this game, I believe, will get win number 6. So it's almost like a playoff game to a certain extent uh, with these two teams today. It doesn't mean they both can't go bowling. So in this one, you do have Maryland on the road. Yeah, maybe they're the more productive offense, but well, they don't cover that. They're 3-6 to the number, despite their 5-4 record. Nebraska, this is almost the role that you kind of want your Nebraska in as a home dog. I just wish we were getting a little bit more, is what it feels like to me. I mean, Maryland does appear to, be the team that can produce offensively. They're averaging 30 points a game, but you're going up against that good Nebraska defense. It allows just 19 points per game, despite all the, issues they can have sometimes being successful. Maryland allowing 24 points per game, and Nebraska averaging about 20 points per game right now. As far as the move is concerned, with Maryland being a 2.5 point favorite, they opened as, let me see here. They opened, I saw Nebraska, one book opened Nebraska 1.5 point favorite. On a look ahead, it was before the last week's results. But Maryland has taken the action here from sharps for the most part, and I'm just a guy who doesn't trust Nebraska. If it were a touchdown, it's not going to be a touchdown. I'm just talking about whoever they were playing against. But if Maryland's going to be laying under a touchdown, I'm probably going to have to get on Maryland here. Just not a guy who trusts Nebraska to ever get anything done in any game that has some relative significance right now. And again, like I said, I try to sell myself as a bit of a Nebraska fan here, week in and week out. If I looked at, there's no doubt out of these two teams, I'm not rooting for Maryland unless I'm going to pick them here. I'll probably kind of root for Maryland and root for more pain for my Huskers, because I think Nebraska I'm not sure they can beat Maryland, considering Maryland's offense with Tagovailoa here. It does bother me that Maryland doesn't cover many spreads right now, and they're 3-6 against the number on the road. But if you're going to be under a touchdown here, I'm going to lay it with Maryland. I'll feel more comfortable maybe just laying money line here. But on the show, I'm willing to go Maryland, so I'll put some money on Maryland. Make sure I'm taking the right, always going to back it with a bet. It's not fair not to. Even though, you get a lot of criticism sometimes, but hey, I'm in here to give free sports opinions every day. That's it for the show.